Let's talk. Can we talk about it? What's going on? Can we talk about it? What's going on? Come on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All right, you all, greetings. We are here. We're going to chop it up, talking about jazz, the music, the artistry, the culture, and we're going to do it with a phenomenal panel that represents a multi-dimensional cross-section of the genre. If you are a musician, in my mind, you are an educator. You are either educating your audience to the technique, the musicality, but for those that are actual, consider themselves educators of the genre, how do you feel like your piece is in making sure that that continues out there, that genre that's taken across the world and it's maybe presented a little bit differently here? It picks up a little bit of a, zest to it over here. But what role do you feel like education plays into the proliferation of the genre?
Exposure, access.
Okay.
Right? So introduction to new audiences, developing new audiences for the music, which I don't think that America does very well when it comes to this tradition.
Okay.
But I think that as artists, many of the people that I admire anyway, personally, the Max Roaches, the Avery Sharps, those individuals, Dr. Billy Taylors, they took on the role. They understood the responsibility of not just being the artist, but of being the educator in order to really expose people not only to the technicality, but to the cultural influences, the spiritual influences of the music, in order to really open up a door for students who might not otherwise have access into that world. I don't know.
The music here in America tend to honor our music well, and if you read the book "To Be or Not to Bop" by Dizzy Gillespie, Max Roach, he made a statement in that book, and one of his quotes was, "Who told them to name our music? We didn't name our music. Our music, you call it jazz, but our music is it's really math." And all we did was improve it. At first, cats like Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong criticized when they heard Bird and Dizzy and Monk. But, and all they were saying was we didn't change the blues. We just improved it. We just we just added more structure. So it just it's growing. It just keeps growing.
I think it's interesting because when I think of how I grew up, my dad, Don Felton, contemporary jazz show, you're getting that kind of flavor of it. And then I think of my grandfather, who's 94, and the conversations I had with him, and he was a saxophonist, and he played in the Navy. He is more straight ahead jazz. And then me stepping into a role of rotating with my dad, I love, when I think of jazz, I think of straight ahead, which I want to honor. Then I think of the contemporary, which I grew up around. And then I think of everything in between, jazz fusion, jazz funk, jazz tronica. There's so many different variations of where people want to honor the classics, everybody who started the genre. But I think there's so many sub-genres within jazz.
The one thing about that I think that radio does and doesn't do is to play more variety of music, to give people a chance to hear other stuff. A lot of people, programmers, are afraid for somebody to turn it down. Just like TV, they want you to stay, but you can't be afraid to change music and do different things, because there's going to be somebody else that's going to say, "I like that." So we as a collective, if we're going to, not just in Springfield, but just in general, I think that came up call Monday night with Hash and, with Detroit and everything else, is that we got to be more aggressive playing the music, and we got to work together to make it happen. to cultivate the scene, to plant the seed, to put the fertilizer down, and build, and not be afraid to help each other out.